PHNX Cardinals is thrilled to welcome 7th-round pick of the Arizona Cardinals this year, Jaden Davis out of the University of Miami. The Hurricane joins Bo Brock and Johnny Venerable, and you join what I believe, Jaden, as an up-and-coming defensive back group for AZ. What it's like to join Jonathan Gannon's mix of DBs?
Man, it's great. Just a great group of guys. We're predominantly young, and then we got the old heads with JT and Buddha.
Wow.
They come in here and they just, they set the standard for everybody.
Yeah.
You got G, you got Keytrail, you got all the guys that just were welcoming. As soon as I got drafted, I got DMs flooding my my Instagram. It was a lot, but just everything right now is all flowing. So I love it.
You mean in the most respectful way, the old heads, right? And it's crazy to think of Buddha told us he's going into season 8, and we got JT who's been in, I think, just a season after Buddha.
Yeah, 6 seasons. Yep.
Just an unbelievable wealth of knowledge, I'm sure. How were they as far as just your first experiences with those two guys?
I mean, they're very down to earth. When you get drafted, or even before you get drafted, when you're in college, you see the NFL. It's like, you never watch Space Jam? They have the big monsters. They grow up and they just
like the OG one.
Yeah, they just the big monsters. Like they're just like something that's just so unattainable, But then when you get around the guys and they know your name,
right?
That's just the first thing. Like, oh, you know my name for real. Like he's talking to me like I'm one of the players. So
Yeah,
okay.
you are.
Yeah, and you're on. It's a little bit of a shock. Like at first, it's like okay. You get around them, you can ask questions, everything. Like we have really good veterans. Like we have really good group of guys that I feel like everybody wants the same goal, which is to win a Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, this DB group is an interesting one. Jonathan Gannon's got a lot of positives as a head coach, but like we like to call him the DB kingmaker around here. What he did in Indianapolis, Minnesota, and of course in Philadelphia. What's it like having a head coach that was a defensive back himself?
Man, he's on you. Every coach I've had has had a group. And I've never had a DB coach as my head coach, and I definitely feel that pressure that I've had before, but with different teams and different groups, So he's on the guys. He's always watching the DBs, just coaching up technique and different specific, really detailed things. And I take everything what he's saying, and I'm trying to add it to my game because he's had guys. He's had the Kenny Moore, the Avonte Maddox. He's had the guys that's played the nickel position or the safety position, corner. He's had guys that he's developed in a great way. You know what I'm saying? So I just take everything he has to say, and I'm just trying to add it to my toolbox.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett Williams was a first-year player last year, coming off injury, but he played primarily slot, and he looked really good in his first year, and I think he's poised for an even bigger and better year this upcoming season. But, another product of what JG and Rollis have done. I asked you, I think, in your introductory press conference, like how you thought you fit in, how this defense fit your skill set, and you were, overwhelmingly positive. Now that you've practiced in this scheme, what are your thoughts now?
Man, it's amazing. Like, I've never played in a more DB-friendly scheme. You get to make so many plays. There's so many different things, so many different fronts and different tilts and things like that that we can be in that just makes life hard for the offense. Like, we're not sitting ducks. Some defenses you can be a sitting duck and you just got to let the front work. We are able to more dictate and be able to change looks and everything like that, whether you're at corner, nickel, safety, dime, any of those situations, you're able to do anything. We're very multiple. So I just love every part of his defense, and I couldn't have been drafted to a better team. So.
I know you just wrapped minicamp, and you were around for rookie minicamp. Who stood out to you offensively that you had to go one-on-one against?
Man, one-on-one, like I said, we do so many things, so it's just like you wouldn't even know if we're one-on-one.
Yeah.
But, I love Marv. I would say Marv. I love Marv. Like, that's my guy, same draft class. And I watched him, I've always wanted to play against him. He's the top dog in our, college football before that. So watched him on tape. I'm like, I always wish I could play against him. Then when I got drafted, I'm like, let me see who else they drafted. Oh, they drafted Marv? I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to see him. But he's impressive, he's as advertised. Like, he does everything that they expect you to do. So he's definitely the one I feel like.
I mean, from that defensive player's standpoint and what you have to go up on a daily basis in practice. I mean, we talk about it all the time on this show. Opposing defenses are going to have to pick their poison. You got JC in the backfield who just went for 1,000 yards. You guys are geared up to run the football with a ton of blockers up front. You added Tip in the draft as well in your class. And then you got Marv, Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride, Greg Dortch coming at you.
Dortch, too. Dortch is like a glitch. Like he's definitely different too. These are guys that when I was growing up, they were in college. I think he went to Wake Forest.
Yep.
So watching him just it's just different now. Like you're in the league, and there's some guys that McBride, he was at Colorado State. I remember watching him. So like, it's just different guys that add so many different skill sets to the team. It's just crazy how much we could do.
You mentioned watching Greg Dortch. You got to Oklahoma, what was it, right after Kyler Murray was drafted?
Yes.
So what was it like going into that program on the heels of K1, winning Heisman, going first overall?
Crazy. I mean, we were on a, did they win the Big 12 2 times in a row, I think, before that? And then when I got there, it was Jay Hurts. So then I get my locker and stuff, and then my locker's right next to Jay Hurts. So I'm like, oh, all right, how do I talk to him? Do I talk to him? Do I just act like I don't know like who he is? Like, no, I know exactly who he is, like what he's done. So like, kind of introduced myself, and he was just more about like business. Like he was like, yo, like you here for a reason. Go take a spot. Like, okay, I'm gonna go take a spot. Like just having that confidence in everything. And K1 would come around all the time. Come around, talk to the guys, and Bake and all them. They all come back. So Oklahoma's a big fraternity, much like Miami. So it was just cool.
Was there a lot of like folklore about Kyler Murray? Like, he did this. Like, this is what he did in the weight room, or this is what he did on the baseball. Like, anything you can share with us that was?
Yeah, it was just a lot. Like he was just, K1 at first. Like he grew a lot. He was more quiet at the beginning of his career, and then when he became that guy, it's just like you learn to different traits. You learn how to be a leader. You learn how to be more vocal and stuff like that. So that was just the main thing about him. Like at first, and they always to talk about his development. Like Link would talk about how K1 developed so much and how he became a leader, especially to a guy like me. At first, I wasn't really more of a vocal leader. I was more of a guy that like led by example. Like I won't be the loudest one or anything like that, but kind of led by example, let my personality show to like all the younger guys that like, or even older guys that like, if you just do everything the right way, things will work out for you. And that's the type of guy I was, but you have to, as a leader, there's some guys that don't respond to things like that. Like some guys that need you to talk to them, And he would when Link would talk to me, he would just tell me stuff about that, like how Kyler had to change his leadership style a little bit based on the locker room that we had at that point. So when fast forward to when I was a sophomore starting, I still had to be that leader, and I had to change my leadership style and stuff like that. So.
We asked your teammate, Tayshawn, when he was in here with us about the momentum that he feels with this team now. There's a big difference, I think, from last year where rookies played, and they played early and often, and this year now, rookies come in, and it's a known commodity. Cardinals play a lot of young players. Like, do you feel like you have a responsibility, like, hey, this is a franchise that's going to give me every opportunity to get on the field?
100%. That's part of the blessing. Talking to my agent, obviously you have teams like before the draft that you talk to, and so you have Zooms with and stuff like that. And the Cardinals was definitely the top team. Like they play their guys, they give everybody equal opportunity. There's no set roles. Like you're able to go out there and show everything you want to do. So it's just opportunities all over the place. If you're like JG says, if you're doing the right things and you're mastering your role, we'll find a spot for you, and you're going to play. And that's what anybody could ask for. You don't want to necessarily be on a Super Bowl team, but feel like when you get the ring, like you didn't really contribute to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been on teams before where in high school or my freshman year, like we had Bosa and all them. I wasn't playing. I still got a ring, but that ring isn't the same as like my sophomore year when I was starting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I feel like I'm taking pride in. Like there's no excuses. Nobody can say they didn't have an opportunity. Like we all have equal opportunities, and we all have opportunities to show what we can do. And I love that about this team. So.
Couple of little fun facts about Jaden Davis that I learned from his introductory press conference. You need to show it off a little bit. The 4-4-4 chain you have.
Yeah.
It's the 4-4-4. It obviously holds meaning to you. Johnny, can you guess what Jaden ran in the 40?
A 4-4-4.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was crazy. I didn't think I was going to run that. I thought it was like during training I was running faster. Then I ran like a 4.46. I'm like, I don't know what I was going to run. Then when I finally got the final number, I was like, oh, that's good. That's a good time.
Picked a good day to have a good day.
Yeah. Just like, oh, that's a good time. But I wasn't thinking about it. My mom was like, Jaden, do you know what you just did? I was like, yeah, I ran fast. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do.
I just asked Tayshawn who was faster, he or a former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver. So you versus T-Palm in practice, I would be pretty good.
I'm faster than him. Leaving him.
Okay.
I'm leaving T-Palm. Now, okay. He got them long legs.
Yeah.
So if he running 100, he might be closer. You running a 40? Oh, I'm leaving.
That's the problem Bo and I have. Is
Yeah.
when people talk shit to me and I'm only 5'6.5", and he's how tall are you?
It's 6'7", I think. No, 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah.
So we were at the combine 2 years ago. We were in the parking lot. They didn't let us in to
I
run
don't
any
even remember
drills.
this story. This is meaningless to me.
And they asked us, our producer said, go run a 40, and my 40 was faster than Bo's.
Was it?
100%.
There was an official clock out there, so don't listen to that, Jaden. I want to advance the story, though. When we look back at the Desert Financial Credit Union transaction today, you were not only the 7th round pick, you were the 226th pick, which holds a lot of meaning to this organization, this state, the NFL world. Pat Tillman selected 226.
Yeah.
You said you immediately reached out to the Tillman Foundation. What's the latest on your relationship?
I actually met with Catherine Steele, the CEO of the foundation. So I met with her over Zoom. Great woman. She's just talking about all the opportunities we have to share Pat's story. Because he was bigger than he was obviously an Arizona Cardinal, and he was obviously Arizona State. But he was bigger than that. Like what he did for this country, what he did for like the world, and how he changed the world. You know what I'm saying? So it was just different opportunities, different things we could think about to help spread his message, help spread his story. And I love it. It kind of aligns with like my values. Obviously his, like I said, is on a much bigger scale. Like he had the ultimate sacrifice for this country. But like just me as a very family oriented person, like I feel like I can align greatly with his goals and how he was trying to do more for other people. So it was a great call, and I hope to do things with them in the future.
Yeah, the character is off the charts, Jaden, and it seems to be like we talk about it all the time on our show, the common denominator with these Jonathan Gannon, Monty Ossenfort teams. Like, do you feel like your personality fits with the guys in the locker room from just a high-level character standpoint? Because that's going to change locker room to locker room. Are the Cardinals prioritizing that, do you believe?
100%. I said it jokingly to my mom. It's like, they drafted the same guy 12 times. Like we all have the same, like, we're not necessarily the same. Like I'm from Florida, or Trey from Mississippi, Marv from Philly, like T-Pong from, I don't know, Wisconsin somewhere. Like we all from different places, but it's like character-wise, I feel like we all align. Like we all love the work. Like D-Rob just said today, like, and we gotta work. Like I don't like guys that don't work, but we don't have that problem right here. Even in college sometimes guys want to be great. Say they want to be great, don't want to put the work in. Like I feel like all the guys we drafted, and even the undrafted guys, Miles Murphy, Joe, Zay Weaver, like same guys character-wise.
I feel like that was Sean Murphy Bunting, or Justin Jones, guys they brought over through free agency. They were able to kind of figure that out, pinpoint, those character positives. Also, I already knew Jaden Davis had tremendous character. We were talking about, are you going to get the new college football 2025? And he wasn't going to go to one of his almas. He wasn't going to say, I'm going to take Oklahoma to the ship. I'm not going to take the U to the ship. I'm going to build up, let's say a Ball State. That's the ultimate test of a character. If you're taking taking a team from the bottom of the NCAA and you're working them all the way to the top, that's the ultimate just proof that you were a big character guy.
With guys that look like me on the roster. That's right. You
gotta build a pipeline.
That's right.
I'm going to Florida first.
That's right. Speaking of pipeline, I think you're the first Cardinal DB drafted from Miami since Antrell Roll. I'm pretty sure that's true. So you are in good company, my friend. We appreciate the time today. Jaden Davis, 7th round pick of the Arizona Cardinals. Can't wait to watch you in action this fall, my guy.
Appreciate y'all.